Hi, welcome to part 4 of this 5-part series about the gene keys for parents. In today's episode, I'm going to talk about how the gene keys help me as a parent. Now, at one point on my parenting adventure, I'd already become more mindful of how I needed to show up as a mom, but I was still struggling with actually showing up as my best self. I already knew what I needed how I needed to show up, but I was struggling to actually do it, to actually implement it. And I'd taken many positive parenting courses by then. I'd invested in so many coaching and personal development programs, but I was still finding it very difficult to implement the advice and follow through on the actions. And I was still getting triggered by my kids and my family. Yeah, especially when running on low energy at the end of the day. And at the time also, I was also going through my next phase of up-leveling myself. I had big goals of growing my creative writing projects, as well as launching my own heart-led business. So I was feeling overwhelmed. I was also feeling guilty that I was actually daring to be so ambitious instead of just, settling with my engineering career and focusing the rest of my efforts on my family. And there was a huge critical voice inside me telling me I was greedy to want all this. Um, I was at that stage of awareness, though, where I knew I couldn't settle. I knew that my fulfillment and my happiness would also lift my family up. So I wasn't turning back. I wasn't turning back on my path of fulfillment. And I consciously decided to go after my big vision and stay committed, even though I didn't know how I was going to do it. And after a couple of, trial and error experiences, the universe finally led me to the gene keys. Other than giving me a good roadmap for fulfillment, which I talk about in the first episode of this 5-part series, here are the top 3 ways that the gene keys help me with my parenting journey in particular. So, number 1, the gene keys have helped me embody inner calm and being present in the moment. They help me embody it. They didn't just help me understand it and know it as a concept, but they actually help me embody it in my everyday life. And this is because being on the Gene Keys journey has required me to pause, to take breaks, and to take things slow, to be still and to look inwards. And I've learned how to practice contemplation. Contemplation is a powerful technique in the Gene Keys, and it's like a mix of meditation and concentration. And it involves not only mental processing, but also emotional and visceral engagement. And it ends up as a full body, holistic experience. Again, you'll not get it unless you do it yourself. And this has helped me embody my learnings. Embodiment, this term, embodiment, it means I become who I want to be in my 3D reality. I don't just dream about it and envision it and think about it. I become it. I follow through with my learnings and my visions, and I make permanent changes to my way of being in my daily life. So the second way that the Gene Keys have helped me in my parenting journey is that they have helped me understand my parenting triggers. They helped me get to the deepest root cause of my triggers and showed me how to deal with it right at its origin. They've helped me expose my reactive patterns and they showed me where I feel the need to defend myself. And then they showed me the keys to dismantle my defenses and to transform my patterns. To give you an example, my insights from my evolution sphere in the activation sequence, as well as my EQ and IQ spheres in the Venus sequence, they have tremendously enhanced the way I show up as a loving mom. And I talk about these sequences in the second part of the series when I define what the gene keys are. So my relationship with my kids, as well as with my husband and my other family, they have become stronger and more peaceful. The third way that the gene keys have helped me as a parent is that they have allowed me to accept all parts of me. And this radical acceptance of who I am now helps me quickly shift to an inner state of love. And from this state of love, I can then give more to my family. And when I talk about acceptance, it's acceptance of me as a whole person. And before the gene keys, I used to consider that certain aspects of myself are weaknesses, and I used to be ashamed of them. One example is that I'm a multi-passionate person by nature. I used to think that being multi-passionate was a weakness. It was like having multiple interests made me a scattered person, spread too thin and not professional enough. I was even told that being multi-passionate meant I had a lack of commitment, that I was only procrastinating. I had shiny object syndrome. And this used to make me feel so ashamed. But now, after going through the Gene Keys journey and studying my Gene Keys profile, I've learned that I actually have line 3 in my core wound vocation sphere, which means I am wired to be multi-passionate. This is line 3. Line 3 means that I'm wired to love adventures and new experiences. And through my inner child work with the Gene Keys Venus sequence, I made peace with this line 3. I now embrace it. I embrace the fact that I'm multi-passionate, and I give myself permission to work on multiple projects at the same time. Instead of, resisting my natural tendencies and beating myself up and telling me, oh, you're procrastinating, you're not committing to the important thing, you're spread too thin. Instead of beating myself up, I embrace who I am. I embrace this multi-passionate urge inside me. And this keeps me excited and happy, which in turn reflects well on my relationship with my family. I have many other examples that I'll share later, but ultimately, my journey along the Gene Keys Golden Path has been an experience of understanding and accepting of myself, of making peace with who I am. And the more peaceful I am, the better I can show up to my kids. And I talk this a lot because I wish that everyone can have this experience of peace. If you want a free taster of the Gene Keys, by the way, you can visit the New to the Gene Keys course on the Gene Keys website. I got the link below this recording. Thank you for listening. I'm Nadine, the Teen Soul Coach. See you next time.